let's start with the offensive depth chart. You know who the QB is. On paper, James Cook is listed as the starting running back. I would prefer Damian Harris to be the guy, but the thing is that he's hardly, if ever, actually healthy for 16 or now 17 weeks. Receiver is where things get dicey. McKenzie's gone. Gabe Davis hangs on to his second receiver spot by the hair of his chinny chin chin. And then we have the enigma that is Stefon Diggs. Stefon Diggs, who I believe made Josh Allen. Now, the quiet stuff is being said out loud via Stephen A. Smith, Fraud A. Smith, if you know. He is saying that Stefon Diggs wants out of Buffalo. But he's aware that he can't actually get out of Buffalo, and he's willing to stay there and play the season out and be a good soldier about it and so on and so forth. He's not going to loaf it. He's not going to James Harden fat suit it. He's going to play it out, right? How much better has Stefon Diggs made Josh Allen? You can look at the numbers and see the marked difference between Josh Allen before Stefon Diggs and when they got Stefon Diggs. But now it's about, year 3, year 4 of the Stefon Diggs experiment. And they have yet to improve, I think, the core around them to really take this offense to the next level. They're still really heavily depending on what Josh Allen can do. And while Josh Allen, who is perpetually in MVP conversations every single year, whether it's warranted or not, they still depend heavily on his ability to make things happen. And while that was cute when he was younger, a guy of that size, as much as people like to go to Lamar and talk about the pounding pause that he would take and how long that can last, I think you need to start having those same types of conversations, even though Josh Allen is a much bigger guy in stature than Lamar Jackson. I think you need to start having those same types of conversations with Josh Allen. How much more can he take? He had the elbow issue. He's had other issues prior. How much more can Josh Allen take? To me, the biggest addition was Dalton Kincaid in the draft, because Dawson Knox is a solid option, more of a block first tight end than a receiving tight end. But Dalton Kincaid, there's been rumors that they might do 11 personnel with Kincaid in the mix. 11 personnel with Dalton Kincaid in the mix. So that's Diggs, Gabe Davis, and Dalton Kincaid in the 11 personnel. Do we like that? Y'all let me know. Do we think Dalton Kincaid, who is more of a receiving tight end than a blocking tight end, do we feel as though Dalton Kincaid is that good? Certainly got the size, certainly has the ability if you watch the highlights, but in terms of execution at this level, can Dalton Kincaid be that type of, receiving tight end a la Kyle Pitts that can go in there in the slot and do work? That will be a thing to keep an eye on. And if you're doing fantasy, that's also something to kind of keep your eye on, okay? Dalton Kincaid in 11 personnel. Okay, so the offensive line. This is where things can go really bad for the Buffalo Bills. I'm not really a fan of this offensive line. I'm not going to sit here and dissect it too crazy, but if you look at all the metrics of offensive line play, especially on the right side of the line, it's not great. And I didn't see that market improvement via the draft or in the offseason to try to make this something better than what it was last year. This whole offense is still designed heavily around what Josh Allen can do. Damian Harris can be a factor if he's healthy. James Cook could then slide and become not necessarily a scat back, but more of a guy that's attacking the perimeter, whereas Damian Harris is more of your straightforward north and south type runner. And he has been productive when healthy. That's one thing you could say about Damian Harris. When he's healthy, he's up there. But with the Patriots, it was a matter of, are you getting enough carries? are you still the guy? Because Stevenson came in and kind of, deboed his spot from him. But Damian Harris, if you allow him the touches and feed him, which is not something we've seen with a running game in the Josh Allen era. If he has a running back that he can give, 18 to 22 carries a game to in Damian Harris, I think that takes a lot of pressure off Josh Allen. And if we really want to keep it real about Josh Allen, was there a market drop-off that we can pinpoint and dissect from last year? Not necessarily. However, there's one particular area where the elbow injury that he suffered definitely affected him. And it was the simple fact that they did not take vertical shots post-elbow injury like they did prior. Now, that's expected, right? However, look at this roster now. Where is your vertical threat on this roster? McKenzie kind of had some of that. He's gone now. You're telling me Shakir can step into that? Maybe Deontay Hardy? Sure. I'm not co-signing, but sure. Gabe Davis is more of an intermediate guy, in my opinion. But this is where the Kincaid thing can really step in here. If Kincaid is that dude, I'm not saying he's going to be taking people deep, but he could seam route you to death. He could intermediate you to death. And if you have Diggs, who can still garner bracket coverage, he's still going to garner the other team's best DB. Like Sauce is following Stefon Diggs. Now you got, is DJ Reed going to have to deal with Dalton Kincaid at 5'9"? Or is he going to deal with Gabe Davis? And if he deals with Gabe Davis, now that opens up in a potential Bills-Jets matchup. Now this opens up Dalton Kincaid against the one Achilles heel the Jets defense possess, and that's coverage at the linebacker level and the safety level. Is that what we're going to get? That's kind of just playing that forward, okay? So that, to me, is the Buffalo's offense. Their defense, oh boy. There's a lot of names here, right? There's a lot of names here. When you're talking about Ed Oliver, Daquan Jones, Von Miller, there's a lot of names here. Shaq Lawson, there's a lot of names here. Matt Milano, there's a lot of names here. Tre'Davious White, there's a lot of names here. Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde, Taylor Rapp. Taylor Rapp is a guy to watch. Salute for Damar Hamlin. I'm not going to get into that, but salute to him. He wants to play. He's playing. Taylor Rapp, though, he's someone to keep an eye on in this back four. Tre'Davious White is okay. They're okay at every level. I think the D-line is really precedent on what's Von Miller. How much does Von Miller have left? How much does Von Miller have left? They were using him as a quasi-situational pass rusher, closer, fourth quarter, just go crazy off the edge, preserve his snap count until the second half so he could let him go loose. Then he got hurt. And they've been very quiet about where he's at in his rehab. We're assuming he's going to be ready to go. We're assuming he's going to be full strength week 1. But that's a huge question mark to just assume at his advanced age, he's still going to be that game-breaking impact player, especially off the edge. Rousseau's got some burst to him. Interior-wise, Ed Oliver's solid. Daquan Jones is solid. I think this is a solid defensive unit, right? The thing about it is that the zone piece to me is where it gets a little shaky. The zone piece here to me is where it gets a little shaky. So if you want to break down the numbers of how much they played zone versus man, you can do that. But when they go zone, it's a little sus because they're depending on the front four to get home. And before Von Miller got hurt, they had a pretty good success rate of getting home. After Von Miller got hurt, that percentage decreased significantly. So, again, if everyone's healthy and everyone plays up to their ability, this is a top 10 defense in name only, right? Just the names that we have here. Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, like there's names here, right? If they play to their ability and don't have, if they're not beset by injuries like they have been, especially last season, this is a top 10 defensive unit. But if they're not healthy, Swiss cheese. If they're not healthy, Swiss cheese. And yes, you can say that about a lot of defenses, but as you see here, we're looking at the names that we all know. If you follow football, you know these names. Now look at the backups. Do you know these names? And how big is the drop-off if these names aren't there, if these starting names aren't there? Now, Taylor Rapp is a guy to keep an eye on, but again, they play a lot of nickel. He's a guy that will be on the field a lot, I think, in certain packages. So X factor defensively is Taylor Rapp's impact because I think he'll be used in a lot of dynamic ways as a weapon. So Bills defense should be good, has the names to be good, but do they have the health to be good? So now we go to where we got with the over-under for the Buffalo Bills. 10.5. So again, the Bills are the favorite by Vegas to win this division. 10.5 games for the Buffalo Bills. Over or under. Over is the favorite. And that's a pretty heavy number, in my opinion. Minus 140, I would not touch that at that number. 10.5, and that's asking a lot. Fourth hardest schedule in the league. 10.5 wins over, under. Some really sneaky good juice here on the under, by the way. We have the Jets on Monday night. Raiders, Commanders, Dolphins, Jaguars in London, Giants, Patriots, Buccaneers. So the first 8 games, you can probably assume the Raiders. Early in the season, maybe you could catch the Commanders. Jags and Buffalo, that could be difficult. Patriots, you would like to think they could take care of business, but as we'll get to later, the Patriots are not going to be a pushover. And then you got the Bucs on Thursday night. So there's definitely more winnable games early for the Bills than for the Jets. Then you look at, they got the Bengals. There's a lot of primetime games. They go to London. They come back for a Sunday night. 2 weeks later, they got a Thursday night, then another Sunday night, then another Monday night. It's going to be a lot of Josh Allen on primetime, boy. God damn, this the anti-Kirk Cousins. They giving him all the primetime matchups. Then you got the Jets, Eagles, bye week. That's a hell of a time to get a bye week, man. That is a murderer's row. Like, you're getting travel included. I think the travel is the most important part. They don't get a bye week after going to London. That's kind of crazy. No bye week after going to London. They come back for a Sunday nighter. Then Patriots, then Bucs on Thursday night. Then Bengals on Sunday night. Denver Monday night. Then the Jets again. Then at Philly. Then they get a bye week. God damn. Then Chiefs, Dallas, Chargers, Patriots, and then Dolphins. Yeah. If you're telling me this 10.5 with this schedule, I don't see 10.5, dog. Like, Buffalo's going to be way better than what I think they are if they could get 11 wins out of this schedule. They get 11 wins out of this schedule, then I'm going to have to walk back a lot of stuff. Then Josh Allen is exactly who they keep saying he is. If they could get 11 wins out of this, you're telling me if they get 11.5 wins, you're telling me Von Miller goes into the hot tub time machine and turns back into Denver Von Miller. Like, a lot of things have to break right for 11 wins, dog. 11 wins with all the travel? I don't see it. Y'all let me know. Do y'all see 11 wins with this schedule we just laid down? 11 wins? No bye week after London? yes, it's a shorter flight because they're coming from the East, because they're going back to the East Coast, but good Lord, I don't know, bruh. I don't see it.